Hi, welcome to Lachlan Likes a Thing, a show where I take a thing and see whether or not I like it. Now the thing we're looking at in this video is the Audio-Technica ATH-AD700X full-sized open headphones. Now the AD700X is the new version of the Audio-Technica AD700, which was a headphone that was always well known as a comfortable, well-priced option, particularly popular with gamers. In this video, I'm going to give you some brief comparisons between the new AD700X and the old AD700, as well as my thoughts on the sound quality of the new model. But first, I want to thank my friends at Audio-Technica Australia for lending me this pair of AD700Xs to have a listen to, and also for being so patient with this review while I've been really busy with uni work, so thanks guys. Now, I've already done a review of the AD900X and the AD1000X, which are the bigger brothers of the AD700X, and I think they are both fantastic headphones. I'm actually a very happy owner of the AD1000X myself, which I regard as one of the best headphones out there for vocals. Now, the AD700X is priced lower than those two models. It's priced at a recommended retail price of $200 US and 249 Australian dollars. But even though it's priced significantly less than those two models, it's definitely not a significant step down in build quality or sound quality over those two models, especially in terms of build quality for a headphone that's just a bit over $100 on US street prices. This is a fantastically built headphone. I had a chance over the weekend to compare the AD700X with my friend's well-loved pair of AD700s, and here are some of the differences I found. The AD700X shares the same basic design with the AD700, but it's a bit more conservative compared to the AD700's love it or hate it look. A lot of the design flourishes have been toned down, and fit and finish has been improved. The AD700 has very comfortable ear pads which are slightly curved in a kind of bowl shape. The 700X has new ear pads which are now flat. I found the new ones a bit less comfortable. The AD700X replaces the metal screw plug on the AD700 with a simpler plastic connector. Compared with the more expensive AD1000X, the AD700X shares an almost identical design. Fit and finish isn't quite as good, but again the AD700X is very impressive for the price. One thing that I did notice is that the AD700X cable is more prone to tangling than the cable on the AD1000X. Another interesting difference between the two is that on the AD700X, both the earpads and the driver are angled, whereas on the AD1000X, only the earpads are angled. This makes it less likely that your ears will touch the drivers on the AD700X, which is a problem some people have. On the subject of comfort, it's worth noting that the fancy 3D wing headband mechanism that Audio-Technica uses on a lot of their headphones doesn't always play nice with the shape of everyone's head. Some users find that when they wear headphones with this headband mechanism, they tend to slide down over time and they're not particularly comfortable. Now, I personally find the 3D wing system quite comfortable on my head, but it's worth trying these headphones out before you buy them just to make sure they're going to work for you. As I said, I didn't find the AD700X quite as comfortable as my friend's well-worn pair of the AD700s, but in terms of absolute comfort, I do think it is still a very comfortable headphone. I'd put it on par with the very comfortable Beyerdynamic DT880, but still not as comfortable as my all-time favorite headphone for comfort, the Sony MDR MA900, which I regard as the benchmark for long-term wearing comfort. So how does it sound? Well, unfortunately, I don't have the AD900X on hand to give you a direct comparison with the AD700X, but I compared the AD700X with the AD700 and the AD1000X, and I can tell you that the AD700X definitely shares the same general sound signature as the rest of the ADX series of headphones. So you have a chesty kind of mid-bass response combined with a really spacious, very airy kind of treble response, which is somewhat emphasized. Like the rest of the AD series headphones, the AD700X sounds really good with stringed instruments and vocals because the forward treble really brings out the texture and the kind of breathiness of those sounds. In terms of bass response, while the bass is there and it goes quite deep, it's not particularly emphasized, and for some bass heavy music, it's not going to sound particularly satisfying. And because of the forward treble, at times the AD700X can be fatiguing for some aggressively recorded music. The AT700X sounds extremely similar to the AT700. The 700X is maybe a tiny bit tighter in the bass and a bit more forward in the vocals, but it isn't a huge difference. Compared with the AT1000X, the AT700X actually shares a very similar sort of basic signature, though perhaps the AT700X is a bit rougher and a bit more aggressive when it comes to the high frequency treble response. In terms of absolute technical performance, I do think the AT1000X is on a different level compared with the AT700X. In terms of bass, the AT700X is less tight and defined. In terms of treble, definitely the treble is more splashy. On the AT700X, it's less defined, it's less distinct. In terms of sound staging overall, it's less precise. Though I still think the AT700X is a really good sounding headphone. The AT1000X I found just more engaging and more defined. Though that's really what you're paying for with the AT1000X. And although it's a bit silly to put numbers on these things sometimes, I would think it's hard to make a case that the AT1000X is definitely 3 times better than the AT700X. Now, I won't make too many definitive statements comparing the AT700X directly with the AT900X because I never compared them directly, but I do feel from memory that the AT900X, while it's a better built headphone than the AT700X, in terms of sound quality, I would think they were on a similar level. And if you wanted a significant step up over the AT700X in the model series, I would look at the AT1000X. Now, personally, my favorite headphone for gaming and movies is the Sony MDR MA900, which combines really great long-term wearing comfort with a really relaxing all-around sound signature that's perfect for long-term listening, and quite a substantial bass response for an open headphone. However, I do know that the AT700 was particularly popular with people who play FPS games, and I'm not much of a first-person shooter gamer myself. If you want a great roundup of headphones for first-person shooter games, I would recommend checking out my friend Madlust Envy's headphone gaming guide over at Headfire, and I've linked that review in the description of my video. It's well worth reading. All that said, the AT700X is at a fantastic price point, and I really would be happy to recommend this headphone to anyone who is after an open, airy, kind of vibrant sounding headphone at a great price. So again, I want to thank Audio-Technica Australia for lending me a pair of these to have a listen to. Now, you can check out my review of the AT900X and the AT1000X. And if you liked this video and found it helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more reviews. To regular subscribers of my channel, yes, that is a new computer, and yes, I will make a video of it. You can talk to me on Facebook at facebook.com/LachlanLikesAthing or tweet to me at LachLikesAthing. I'm looking forward to your comments, and happy listening.